Hello, it's Etharal here, and today we are back with our Twilight of the Imperium mod for Stellaris, or the Warhammer mod, where we have been playing as the Tau Empire. We have quite a large empire in this area now, and we have just came back from a successful war to humiliate the craft world Eldar that are in our northeastern area and bring them down to size a little bit, as we have got a military power which far exceeds their own. So always a nice situation to be in, coming back as the victorious conquerors. Well, not conquerors, but still the victorious party from a war. We are still trying to work out the actual way to do actual conquest wars. I must admit that I haven't done a war until the last one in Stellaris yet. That was my first one, as the actual AI in this game is very, very peaceful by the scene, by what I've seen of it at least, sort of thing. And so at the minute it's a case that we're just trying to work them out, give it a bit of a test to see what we can do to be able to look at expanding our kingdom with the, well, I say kingdom, I mean space empire, with the ultimate goal of being able to bring everybody else to their needs and bring everybody else under the control of the greater good and the Tau Empire. Now, to do that, we are now being in peace. We are going to start a massive focus again on actually pushing out further onto space and beginning another phase of colonization, and hopefully a new sector that will come from that. Now, to be able to do that though, there is a lot of engine credits that we are going to require. So first thing that we are doing before anything else is we are setting all of this up to be able to make sure that all of our places are producing as much resources as they can, so that they can support as much of an expansion phase, if you like, as possible in the coming years. There's a lot to go on. We've got an option for down to the southwest. We've also got an option to the southeast and to the northwest. Now, first of all, focusing on the southeast, what we're going to be doing here, it's got a lot of area which has never been explored by anybody. There's a lot of enemies here, so science vessels haven't been able to, unfortunately, get in and be able to actually do anything. So what we are going to do is we are going to take our big first fleet, the big, 23k fleet, and we are going to move that down to be able to sweep out any enemies out of the way without much of a problem. We're going to leave the second fleet, however, back up at Tau, and the plan for that one is that the ships that Tau's spaceport is just constantly churning out, the big battleships, they are going to be, plan is coming and bringing them and actually getting those to, going to the second fleet, with the aim of the second fleet getting close to being the same power as the first fleet, 225. Ideally, what I'd like is 225 strong fleets that can really just smash into people. Or if something was to go wrong, in a war or something like that, say, the plan would then be to just, merge them two together. You've got a big 50,000 fleet, and also as well this guy Bork here, who is the general for First Fleet. He's about to become a 5-star general in terms of experience, so he is going to be a really good guy to be using, and put those two fleets together if there is a war, which is going to be a little bit difficult, and then you've got a 50k fleet led by a 5-star general. That pretty much would be the ideal situation for you to find yourself in, really. So this fleet here, we're going to move it around, make sure that this guy is getting as much experience as possible, commanding a large fleet, which he already has a lot, but he can always use a little bit more experience, and mopping up these enemies here to be able to send in our science ships to be able to expand further into this area and learn a little bit about it. As you can see, that fleet, they are not really dealing with having any trouble dealing with any people. They've already cleared out 2 sectors for us now to be able to look at exploring those, which we do have science vessels that could explore them, and that's going to be, it's going to be a bit of a wait for us to be able to explore all of them, unfortunately, and I think it's probably a case that we're going to have to give up on the research products, as they are timed research products. We will try and grab as many as we possibly can, obviously, but we can't grab all of them, and I don't think we're going to try to. It's just not in the cards, given how quickly it is that the first fleet is going to remove all of these people. Now here you can see as well that Sigma, Draconis, Savior, and another one down to the southeast. There are a lot of good planets here with a lot of options to be able to expand into them. There's Dawn here, which we're going to put into one of our other sectors, just to try and sort of, just with how the borders look, basically, is the main reason why I'm wanting to do that one, just to even that border out a little bit there. And also as well going to be swallowing up that border, that frontier outpost, that I believe it was an Orc enemy nation, or, well, not enemy, but certainly not an ally, decide to try and place there to cut us off. yeah, they're going to get swallowed up very quickly, basically there, which is something, you know, I'm fine with, to be honest. And so here, just moving around, I mean, this fleet here, it's not really suffering much difficulty. It's more of just pest control more than anything is how I would plan it, pretty much. And here, we do have a new planet to go into the southwest, actually the furthest northwest, sorry, not southwest sector that we do have. These guys are going to go and colonize those straight away. So we've still got a fair bit of influence, but I suspect it is going to be a case that influence we're going to see drop very, very quickly over the next sort of coming weeks, months, however long it does take to get these colonies into place. The main reason for that one is really, really simple though. It's basically just because we want to drop a load of new colonies and see how much we do manage to expand. So here we have moved in and we're already, well, 127 down, 127 influence. Sorry, got a bit tongue tied there, seemed to struggle to get my words out. And so, you know, here we've managed to find this one. Luckily, because they are already in our space area, they are a lot less influence to be able to colonize that land. So brilliant, we managed to get that. We're now down to 94 influence, so it looks like we're going to be waiting for that new planet for a little bit. We've now got, I believe it is 3 colonies now starting to be established all in one go. So you can see there we are now an energy credit, you know, we're neutral at the minute, but we're going to probably see a pretty big large drop off when we do get all of those actual, you know, settlements starting coming up, beginning to get to the point of being proper colonies and things like that, which there we go. Yep, speak of the devil, down to minus 43. So, you know, again, it is that balancing act that I've been doing through the whole game, making sure that that energy credit does keep going. I mean, it is a case that it is going to be a good 8 to 10 years before there is any real problems. But, you know, still, if there was to be a war come up now, you know, and we've got to pull up a load of new ships and things like that, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to really have to do, you know. So we do want to try and resolve that as quickly as possible by getting these all built up as quickly as possible, and then get these colonies put into sectors so that we're not trying to support them. They're managing themselves, they've got their own resources to deal with, and then from that we should be able to see this actual, you know, the energy credits again jump back up, go again. But that is going to take a long time, you know, well, not a long time, I think it's actually going to go quite quickly, but it is going to have to be something that we are going to have to monitor quite carefully. It could be a bit of a problem if, you know, things do happen to, you know, drop off or things like that. You know, we may see a slight reduction in our energy credits, having to, you know, support these establishing sectors as they are in a money deficit and things like that. Now, up here to the north as well, we are going to look at setting up a frontier outpost, which it's bit of a toss-up. The reason why I'm choosing to do that though is because of Kai. I want to move Kai and be able to bring it into this sector that we do have there. Now, what that's going to mean, how we're going to have to do that is we're going to have to take an influence hit with a frontier outpost, and then from that frontier outpost we'll then be able to link Kai up to that very small sector that we've got up there. More than anything, it's just because it's a very small sector. We want to, you know, we want to have it as the same size as the other ones, and it's not getting mocked by all the other sectors, basically. So, you know, that's what's going on up there. Here you can see, as I was talking about, you know, the actual, you know, our lands, which are all solid. There we go. They have finally managed to swarm around that frontier, you know, outpost. Frontier outpost of no use whatsoever to them. Really don't know why those guys did decide to put that up there. So we'll just mention as well that if anybody does, you know, you do want to subscribe, you are enjoying the series, please do feel free. It's great to see the support, and you're going to get then that way your notifications for as new videos are coming out over the coming weeks and months in this series and all the other ones that I do run. So come back to here, we've got another actual sector going to be set up, the Sigma Draconis area. So I'm going to set it up nice and quickly here, get a load of extra planets to it. There is a lot more other options that it will be able to expand, but here we're just going to put Dawn all up to getting a full sector as well, and then we should be able to, you know, just pop up that last one there that we did accidentally manage to miss the first time. So that sector, which started off, is going to be probably, I mean, when I believe I first mentioned about building that initial sector in the southwest, the one before the Sigma Draconis is our furthest east one, sorry, that one, you know, it was going to be always quite a small, insignificant sector. It does, however, look like it has expanded to being quite a solid sector, to be honest. It's got a fair bit of land to expand into. There are planets in the system that it's already in as well, so there is a lot of options for those to be able to go a bit further. here, though, the new sector is, coming along quite nicely. It's going to be expanding quite quickly, depending on how everything does go and how quickly it does go. We may even be, think, a second sector in here as well. This one, keeping them more densely packed than we have done before. And that's something that we are going to look at doing as well, splitting down, particularly our original northwestern, I was right. Northwestern sector, splitting that down into two, as it has expanded pretty far, and it's got some extra planets that still do need to be colonized inside of it. That's something that you'll see in a minute. I think I'll have that pop up on screen with me going over there. So yeah, those ones to the the northwest, these big main ones here, you can see they do have a lot of planets that could be colonized into. This planet here that we were originally looking at colonizing as well, it does look like, unfortunately, the Eldar do manage to just get there just before us, which is more than a little bit annoying, but we'll have to deal with them as we always do plan to. So instead we are going to move these down to the Risa Prime sector. This Risa Prime sector is one that we do have a lot of extra greens and ambers in there, as you can see. So that is the reason why we're going to look at splitting that sector, as it's got a lot of planets potentially that are colonizable inside of it, and we don't want all those colonizable planets to just completely go to waste. Here as well, with the research, you can see our actual naval fleet. Again, it's just growing in size, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the benefit of that has meant that that second fleet has continued. It was what, 2,300 or so, about that, when we did start this game today, and it's now up to 7,800. So that second fleet coming along nicely to really be able to not quite rival the first fleet, certainly not, but still to be one respectable enough in strength so that if it is one that we do need to use for an actual war, it's going to be able to hold its own now, I do believe. So that's a nice situation for that one to be in as well, really. So here, there we go, we've got the extra actual desert planet here all set up and ready to go, so that's brilliant. So we are going to put it into this sector as well. We're going to expand this one just a little bit further, give it some extra couple of planets, not for any particular reason, it is just that seems to basically be our resource area. When we do manage to find out that it looks like we finally have some factions, some people that aren't completely loyal to the Tau Empire's main goals in this area, and they are calling for separatist, Prime Separatist Congress. So they are demanding independence for the Solemnus Prime sector. Well, that is something that we cannot allow and will not allow, although they are still going to try and do it, but they're going to regret having to, even think about that. We will keep an eye on them. They look pretty okay at the minute. They're not increasing or anything like that. It's just a purely one population, but it's something that could become a, problem in the future. So we will keep an eye on them, see how that goes, and, evaluate that one as we do go along, basically. Here we're going to expand this actual, area here. It's the Gath Prime sector, which is really not a big sector. It was the one that I was wanting to move into Kai, which by the looks of things there, if we had managed to get to Kai before them, that would have, it would have worked a spot on there, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll deal with that in the future. We are going to be certainly going back to a war with the Eldar in the near future. Once we have done a couple more of the wars, just messing around with some stuff, just trying to work out exactly what it is that we do is going to be the main goal first, and then turn back on the Eldar and basically make them wish they'd never declared us as one of their rivals. So we're gonna leave it there for today. So thank you very much for watching. Please do be sure to subscribe here at EGN if you do enjoy the series, and obviously leave a comment below if you have any suggestions of things that you would like to see.